Hello, hello, welcome in. What's going on, everybody? Hope you can hear me here. But what's going on, everybody? For Rip the Lip, I'm Ron Thoman. This is Kyle Hervey, and you're watching Over the Cushion, powered by MCM Contracting, served in Lehigh Valley for 33 years, owned and operated by Mark Daniels. This show is all about dirt track racing, covering news, current events, and other, talking with other drivers every single week. So thanks for tuning in. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Bodie Marks Racing, The Shop Automotive Detailing of theshopdetails.com, Smith Fabrication, Stage 1 Modifieds, DH Graphics, ProTech Roofing, Nate Freed Racing. Really appreciate everybody, supporting me and supporting this awesome show that we have here. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the show, please reach out via Facebook Messenger or email me at riptheliptv@gmail.com. We're live every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern here on Facebook and YouTube, so full versions of this podcast will be available on those. So let me get my co-host in here. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, Ron? How are you?
I am fantastic. What's going on with you? How was your week?
Not my week was uh I don't remember.
It's just a blur at this point.
It was another week, Ron.
Yep,
Another
another
week
week without
closer to
race.
racing.
Yeah. So now what? You're preparing for Trenton? Are you going to Trenton?
I will not. I decided that I just don't feel like it.
Well, you just raced the TQ like twice in the span of
I
like a month, so that's
Yeah, I am going to take the TQ all apart and go over that and build a custom body for that car for outdoor. And I think we're just going to focus on the TQ for a little bit right now, and I will leave the micro sit until we come closer to outdoor season. I did grab the action track and the ATQ MRA schedule this week and start putting together my calendar
very nice.
and trying to figure out what we are doing. And I have Faith Turnbaugh driving my slingshot this year at Action Track for me full
Really?
time.
The
So
24 is making its triumphant return?
the 24H will be in full time competition at Action
Holy
Track this year, but I will not
crap.
I will not be behind the wheel. I do not know if I'm picking up any slingshot races. Nobody can seem to decide if we are running a road course, if we are not running a road
I heard
course.
I saw someone talking about the Roval on on the Facebook group, man.
But I'm very torn right now, Ron, if do I just go with the one and done, or do I defend the title if they bring it back?
Come on, dude. Of
It's a
how
lot of
dominant
work,
you are,
Ron.
there's no shot anybody beats you, right?
I don't have that car anymore. I don't know if this. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
imagine this
you
car I
have the
could set up the
notebook,
same.
right?
Oh man,
You got the notebook?
the notebooks in my head, Ron. That setup that setup's memorized. That
That's right, baby.
that is that is a snapshot in my brain. Nobody can find it. You'd have to Elon Musk it out of me or
That's what I'm
something. You're
saying.
gonna
Like,
USB in through my ear, and that's the only way anybody's getting that setup out of me.
very nice. And Hamlin released their schedule. Well, didn't release it yet.
They released a picture that was so blurry that it gave me a headache trying to read.
Yes, me too.
And
But
I
it is
did double
only
check.
it's only to their Facebook group, the group,
Yeah,
not the
I
page
could.
itself.
I went back yesterday trying to find it. I do think so. There is no 100 lapper. It is a 50 lapper with a pit stop challenge for the slingshots on the weekend of July 1st, which unfortunately I will not be able to make. I will be in Chicago for the NASCAR street circuit.
That is perfectly good reason not to be there. And
Yes.
I'm curious why they haven't released it to the main page yet. I got the logo made, and she's been Denise has been able to put that out there, so we have a good logo for this year. We have everything ready. Not sure why it hasn't been posted to the main page, or
Yeah.
it looks like it's just. Well, the thing is with Facebook, if she took like a screenshot of it on her phone or something or whatever, and then posted on there, Facebook compresses everything super hard. So like, if you ever ask for photos from someone, have them. Anyone out there listening, if you get photos from people, have them send it on Google Drive or Dropbox or something along those lines, so you get a full high quality picture. Because if you have them send it through Facebook Messenger, well, it's going to get compressed down to the size of a peanut, and then it's going to look terrible. So that's just a little, a little something to remember. But yeah, I think that's what happened, because usually they're pretty clear. I'm sure it's probably on my race pass, or will be very soon, because usually they use my race pass pretty diligently, more than most places. So I would assume that, but it looks pretty good. We got a week off in June, a week off in August, so I'll be looking for different places to go that night. Maybe Grandview one of those nights, or Greenwood Valley or something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
A decent sized all-star, the Hamlin 50s in August or September 20th, 500 to win. Maybe we can find some sponsors, bump that up. Trying to see what else. There's a Super National in June, Firecracker. This year they're doing the Stage 1 Modified Top Dog Series like they did last year, which was super cool. Got actually a lot more cars in. And then I believe they're still doing the Junior Slingshot Rising Star Series. So like it's their own mini series within their normal season point things. And they have like the Rising Star, the trophy they had for last year was gorgeous. Griffin Hendershot actually won that, so that was pretty cool. But so they're doing these like little mini series, which is kind of cool. It looks like they have even written on their Wing 600 Sprint specials. So we're gonna have some winged 600s back at Hamlin, which is cool.
The action track schedule is also interesting to take a look at with what special events with the modifieds and the 360s and everything. So you definitely got to take a look at that. That's going to be wild.
I can't wait for the Short Track Super Series. I will bite and claw my way to get there, man. I don't not care. I have to be there because it's the size of Makatech, which is a historic racetrack and right down the road from my house. So it's definitely something I'm into, man. But hopefully they actually release the schedule so we can, I don't know, maybe they want to make some changes or make some tweaks or something along those lines. We'll see. But so far that's all we got.
Yep. So not too much else going on at the moment racing wise. Got the NASCAR season is kicking off with the Clash is playing in the background for me right now.
Are they on to the final race yet? I know they were doing heats and LCQs before.
Flyover just went overhead.
They haven't started the race yet?
No. It was glorious. While you were talking about the scheduling and everything, I heard trumpets in the background. It was like a heavenly angel speaking to me.
Gosh, that is a long broadcast. Holy crap! It's already been going for 3 hours.
This is a little drawn out. So
just a smidge, and I was because when they started the heats, I thought the race started at 5. I was like, oh sweet, and then I was like, the stands are not full. Like there's like obviously we're not gonna fill the stadium, right? We're not.
The race starts at 5 Pacific.
Whoa, man, we just got there.
So it's
I was wondering why the things weren't full. Obviously, we're not going to fill all the stands for a NASCAR race because that stadium is humongous.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, there's like nobody there, and it was just for the heats, which were actually very, very entertaining. I will say that.
Yeah.
A weird system how they, like, if you win heat 1, you're just on the pole. There you go. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like the first heat was like all odd numbers. The second heat was all, even numbers.
Yeah, it works out.
It does. Anything else? Oh, I was able to. I'm gonna be going to Hamlin before the racing season starts to practice some drone maneuvers.
Oh boy!
I talked to the landowner, and he's gonna let me practice. I'd rather practice beforehand instead of like on race day, like trying to, or even on bug day, trying to like figure out the height that I need to be at, the altitude, and then, how to mess with it on the, because if you turn it to the fast setting or whatever, you can go like 25, but there's no obstacle avoidance. The sensors get turned off. So you gotta be like,
oh God.
But you can set it to be, you can set a max altitude on it, so it'll only go so high.
Yeah.
And I just got to make sure that that's underneath those wires that run from the tower down to the pole. I got to make sure that, that's the only thing. Don't want it to run in there. So if it hits the wire, it's falling on the track and it's getting run over. We don't want that.
Oh God.
We're gonna try to get some action shots. No guarantee that they're gonna look great, but they will be stabilized.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get. I gotta push through and like actually like do vlog style videos because I've been wanting to do them for years, and I'm so piss scared to do them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can talk to this camera and talk to you, no problem. Like behind my desk. But if I'm in public, like even though I've done like almost 100 interviews with drivers, like I gotta talk myself into it. It's terrible. Like even people I know and I've talked to before. I just take laps around. I'm like, okay,
we'll get there.
Just go say hello. I'm a very outgoing introvert, apparently. All right, so let's get our guest in here. I think you know the guest a little bit more than me. If you want to do a little intro for him.
Sure, why not? So this week's guest, I'm very excited for. I've known him since he was a young man, racing in slingshots. We raced a lot together at Snydersville, Borgers, and Hamlin before he moved on to bigger and better things, racing modifieds at New Egypt Speedway for Marty Resnick. We have one of my close friends, David Burns.
What is going on?
What's up, Dave?
What's going
How are
on,
you?
man? Doing good.
Uh,
How are you?
just watching a muted Clash.
Is
uh,
have they thrown the green yet?
No,
Damn it!
no. Getting a nice
I'm
view of
watching a
Eric
David
Amarola.
watching a David Reagan interview.
Oh, well, you're in a different spot than me. I have no idea. It is what it is.
Indeed. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I guess we'll start off like we start off with most things. Most things. Where did you start, and how did you get your start? Is it your family that race, or did you start, quarter midgets like everyone else I've talked to, or did you just dive right into slingshots?
Oh, okay. So, I grew up in a racing family. My dad, my dad's sister ended up marrying Billy Pouch. So, I grew up going to the New Egypt, all around Bridgeport, all that stuff, and going to watch him, and then my cousin, Billy Jr. and just grew up doing that. My dad raced back in the day, but he wasn't any good. So um, it was, I think, '09. Uh, I don't even know who convinced who to buy a race car, but my parents bought me a slingshot that ended up in my house and didn't see the track until 2014, until we met a guy named Skip Eccles who got me started. The car when it ended up at his house, and he built it, got what we needed to get it race ready, and in June of 2014, I started my first race ever in junior slingshots at Borgers, and then just yeah. So I guess you could say I dove right into slingshots and never drove anything else. I think I tested a quarter midget at Wall when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. But that's it. That was the extent of my my racing until then. So kind of just dove right in and you know went through the motions of not knowing a single thing about it and just having fun.
Yeah, for sure. And Kyle's talked so highly of Borgers. Do you remember any of the races there, and any good memories? Running that place, because I know it doesn't.
Was
It's
that
pavement
first
now, right?
race for you on dirt there or pavement?
No, so 2014 it was asphalt. So and that's one thing a lot of people get surprised when I tell them I actually started on asphalt because um Borgers was, I don't know what year Borgers became asphalt, but um yeah, uh, Borgers, that was so fun, and I really thought I'm so glad that I started there because I met so many people. I met my I met Kyle there. So many kids that ended up racing, and now yeah, who I'm racing with now, and we're racing there. I remember being in a tour race there. They used to have Oktoberfest, which was super fun. There was like a tour race. I'd assume Kyle was in that race as well.
Yep.
Um, and I
Kyle's
think it
been
was
in
like
every
four.
race. He's been around forever.
Yeah, and then it was, so we ran the tour race. I think this is the order. We ran the tour race on Saturday night. Um, and there, I think they had to have started like 27 cars or something. It
It
was
was more than
crazy.
that. Ron, I'm trying
It,
to
it,
find a photo for you right now.
I have it on my phone somewhere too, but there was so many. I think I was probably I probably started 23rd. I was way in the back, and I just remember I didn't have I just had one of them regular Kirky bucket seats, but I had no head rest on the side.
Yeah,
So
that's.
by lap 20, my head's hanging out the side of the car because it was horrible.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so that was a rough one. And then the next day, that day I met a guy named Paul Hartwig, and the next day I think was
Paulie.
Mahoning Valley, and he towed my car to Mahoning Valley. And I don't, did you run that race too, Kyle? The tour race at
Probably.
Mahoning Valley? You were probably there too. So obviously I was running asphalt, so go straight to Mahoning Valley, and that was a cool weekend. But yeah, so I didn't do much dirt racing that year. The only dirt racing I did was a couple races at Snydersville with and that was fun in itself too. And that's really where I met Kyle. Um,
Yeah,
just
Kyle just sent me some
Yeah,
pictures of that, and I
I
see Wes Hearn in there, and I see Brett Bieber, and then who's that 24
Yep.
in the front?
So
Yellow 24.
man, yep, that's me. So looking at this photo, the first photo we got Kurt Bettler in the 66,
Yep.
Anthony
Oh.
Reisner in the outside.
Yep.
I don't know who was in the 55. I'm gonna guess it was Simon Egan at the time. And that
I
could have been
assume so. No, Chris was in that
Who's
yellow
Chris?
5.
Oh,
Chris
Um,
had
the
that yellow
90
5 still.
99 Paul Anderson,
Henry Anderson.
Henry Anderson,
Yeah.
the 29L Ryan Lacoe, and
Yep.
then Brett Bieber in the 32.
32.
I see David. David is in
Ryan Lacoe.
the
man, he-
40. You were in the 48 car.
I was in the red 48 all the way in the
Dude.
back.
That
thing
that
stands right out, baby.
That thing looks like a monstrosity. That's awesome. I don't remember that car.
Let me see if let me see if I can pull these. I have the. I'm looking at it on my
It's-
phone. I should be looking at them on the screen.
And
here.
this
Give me a
this
second.
is a track that's like a little bit longer straightaway than Snydersville and more narrow. It's not a
it's
big
Martinsville.
track for how many people we put on there. I want to say they started 30 cars that night. And-
Everyone that showed up ran it.
It was such a badass race.
Where is-
That track was so badass.
That race just felt like it meant something. Like it
Oh,
was
that's
being
not
that
bad.
it was my first year racing. It was like it felt like I was starting a NASCAR race. It was
Yeah.
actually really cool.
Exactly. Now, I thought I remembered meeting you at Snydersville, but maybe we met at Borgers because I only ran that season at Borgers as well. But I remember you running. Did you run juniors at Snydersville, or were you
Yes.
running all stars? Okay, that's what I remember.
There it
I remember
is.
me and Chris Jr. have a photo of you winning the race, and we're standing on the flag stand photo bombing you, also in that red 48 car.
I still have that picture.
Yeah, I have that somewhere as well, which is hilarious.
All right.
Yeah.
I also remember you, and I can't remember who the other driver was,
see what
crashing through the exit gate at
Oh,
Snydersville.
yeah. I
I
didn't know.
got the pictures back. Oh, I actually pulled the pictures up finally instead of just looking at it on my phone. But
Yep, so I see you.
oh crap.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go the
the-
other way. There they
I'll
are.
go
There's
into
all
that
of them.
real quick. That was Cody Motto.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I started first, and obviously, I think it was just 3 of us. It
think
might
so.
have been just us 2, maybe. No, it was just us 2, because they canceled the race after that. The way Snydersville is, obviously, I don't know, Ron, if you've been.
I've been
to
there once.
Snydersville.
I've been there once.
So you know how the gate opens in turn 1 and 2.
yeah.
So
it's strange.
we
but
go
yeah.
into 1, and we just collided and got locked together, and we went straight through the exit gate.
No.
I'm in tears laughing about this. I was standing off to
No.
the side. I wasn't racing. I was just there hanging out. The sound and dust cloud that it made was so bad.
Oh my gosh! What the heck?
It was like,
Like, it
and the
canceled
green
whole
flag is
night.
out, and they just were straight off the track, and the loud bang as the gates fly open, and nobody can tell what happened because there's just a giant cloud of dust. But
Well, like,
we
did
just
you guys
look
stop, or did you
over.
run into the freaking way station.
No, it stopped us.
Well,
but
thank God. There,
it-
parked people to park around there and stuff.
Well,
Oh,
the
God.
best thing about the whole thing is they actually, because there was just 2 of us, so they were like, well, and we might have even been the last race that night anyway, but they were like, all right, you won. I'm like, and that was my first ever win at Snydersville. I was like,
Wait,
sweet,
they
I got
just
the
gave you
win.
the
I got
win?
the win sticker.
I
They
would be
gave me the
so
win sticker.
pissed. Oh my gosh, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, what the hell? He didn't. He just he caused the caution. Put him in the back.
David was speed running the win at Snydersville.
Oh my gosh, that's literally like world record.
Fastest time to win in a slingshot race. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I still have that panel is like, I'm looking at that. Most of us slingshot guys put our win stickers on our little our post, so
Yeah.
I have that hanging in my room right now.
That's awesome.
Oh
So
man.
funny.
So how many?
Holy cow.
I know after Borger shut down, we ended up racing at Hamlin for a while because you and I would always pit together at the bottom of the
Mhm.
hill. How many years were you in slingshots before you eventually made the move to modifieds?
I was in slingshots from, it's actually very brief period of time. It was 14 through the end of 16. So it was just a couple years there, but I remember 2015 was a really crappy year. That was when I got that orange car. And then I really got close with you in 2016.
Yeah.
That's when you started coming over to my house and helping me and everything.
Good guy
That was
Kyle over here.
Yeah.
Man, I remember you had the tiniest trailer, and I always
Yep.
forgot the duck leaving it. And I remember we were trying to do something at your house. I think you tried to take on Action Track, and Action Track did Action Track things to you and just destroyed your car week after
Yes.
week.
Yep.
And I remember having to bring over wrenches to change front axles, and I remember fixing up an old antique vise and mounting it in your trailer
Yep.
first to
Still
use
have
and
that
drill
vice.
out to drill out the we were trying to drill out the bearing carriers, and I don't remember why I was running in and out of the trailer, but I remember running out of the trailer full speed and hitting my head so hard that I don't remember anything except waking up just laying on my back on the shop floor.
Oh my god.
I just remember flying out of the trailer.
That's nutty.
Yeah, that was such a cool time though. In that year, 2016, I got really close with who you're still really good friends with, Steven Svanda.
Yeah.
Swanda. I never got his last name, but I got really good with him, and I actually ran the pink car the one night at Kutztown.
Yep.
Natasha's car, and then
Which I owned briefly afterwards.
I remember that sitting in your shop floor. But yeah, that was really cool. We went to Oakland Valley that year. You were there too. That's the only time we really ran side by side. That was a dust bowl of a race.
Was that the 100 lapper?
That was a 100 lapper. Oh,
Yep.
and I don't know if you remember this, Kyle, but this sticks out to me about that race. It was 1,500 to win, and that was the year of that 4,000 big super national race at Kutztown.
Yeah.
So you win, you get qualified. So it was 1,500 to win. So I ended up finishing fourth in the race, which to date was my best All-Star Slingshot finish ever. And here I am thinking, man, I'm gonna get like $300. It's gonna be awesome. I guess there was fine print somewhere that I missed. It was 1,500 to win, 50 for the rest of the field.
Yep. Yeah, I think I still do some of their pay sheets like that. I hate that stuff, man. I hate when they just top load the purse like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
okay, good.
I was gonna say that race sucked for me because I couldn't. You couldn't see. They stopped the race to water the track 3 times. I think Ron, we played that video that I have from my onboard on one of the first couple episodes. But I got a rock stuck in the flywheel, and at the halfway break, I had no idea what was wrong with the car, but it was just flat. We ended up like doing our normal adjustments and changing spark plugs on the car on a pit stop, and it ran better for a little bit when it cooled down, but man, there was just a rock jammed in my flywheel shooting sparks all over, and I had no idea until we got it back in the shop. But I don't really remember much else about that race. I remember that was one of the first times racing with one of my best friends, Sam Muller, because she was up there from New York, and I remember she destroyed the car in practice, rips the front axle out of it. I was just like, nice.
Yeah, well, they're actually getting Oakland Valley back going. They had a three night thing this past year that I helped film for, and talking to the owner, he seems really big on trying to get it back going and running 2 to 3 times a month. And he has that little kart track at Oakland Valley.
The road course.
The road course. So the way that works is he has all these carts, all the safety gear, whatever, right? So X amount of money, you can rent the car, get all the safety stuff, and someone will show you how to run it, right? He wants to do the same concept for Slingshot. So he has 2 Slingshots right now. I think he wants to get like 2 more. And then you pay $100, whatever. And for half a day, you can just get the safety equipment, get the car, and someone will be there to kind of show you the ropes. So you can test it out super cheap, get some laps in, and then be like, hey, I think I want to get into this, and then spend like 10 grand. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just like diving headfirst into it, and then maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Just based on you watching it. So I think that's a super cool idea, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of people into the sport. And I don't know, it's a nice little track. I've only been there the 3 times, but I think he's got a drive to make it good. And I know I want to put on a race at some point. Definitely not this year. I talked about it, but it's hard to put that much money together because I wanted to put a race together for Slingshots that's like a short track super series pay scale, not like the crazy stuff that Brett Dale's doing now, like a normal like 1,000 to win or 1,500 to win pay scale that they usually do. That other, I don't know where he gets his money, but Dale's keeping it alive, baby. But
Yeah.
that's my goal for Slingshots is to at least do one big race. I don't know if it'll be recurring, but anyway, that's my little rant on on Oakland Valley. It's coming back, baby, but I don't know how much it's coming back.
Yeah, anything to keep a track from closing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't think that track will ever quote unquote close because he's got the road course and it's
Go-
just him
go.
and his dog and he has no wife
I
or
know
kids
so
or
many
anything.
people who run that road course in like a touring kart series that absolutely love it. They think it's
Oh,
like the most
everyone
fun
loves
road
it.
course ever.
Oh my gosh, I want to go. We should all go up there and rent carts and just enter those. Like whenever they have a race, we should just go up there and just like try it out.
Yeah,
Be so
there's a
much
go
fun.
kart series that I've raced in that goes up there a lot for tour races and whatnot, which
That's cool.
I should try out sometime when I'm free.
Yeah, man. So Dave, so you do the All Star thing for a while, and then did you immediately go to, 350A modifieds up in New Egypt? Did you start in like maybe like an open sportsman or like did they even have crate sportsman at the time that you moved up into the big cars?
So what happened with all that was in my last year in Slingshots, the Flying to the Department Store, my current car owner Marty Resnick, um, I was in Boy Scouts, believe it or not, at the time, and my troop leader told me that he mentioned something at the department store to Marty, and I was told to go in there and talk to him. So he gave me one thing led to another. I got a $400 sponsorship for that year
Woo.
for the slingshot, and
Nice.
it was cool because I had the slingshot with like a Red Wing shoes on it, so I felt like so official because I had
Yes,
like a
sir.
corporate sponsor on my car.
Yeah.
But then that it was I think it was the end of that summer. Towards the end of that summer, I'd go in there and check up and let him know how I'm doing and whatnot. And he just said, "You have any interest in running big cars?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" Like, yeah, of course.
What?
And it was like a totally random, like, asked me. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to. Like, and there really wasn't much conversation after that. It was kind of like left there. Next thing you know, a couple months go by, we're going up to New York and buying a car from Zuby's Racing, which Brian Crummell was racing at the time. And we bought 2017 Hig Fab, 2016
Nice.
actually, but and put it together. I started with a crate, through 602 crate, and ran rookies at New Egypt that in 2017. Won the rookie championship and whatnot, and from there, I ran like after you graduate from rookies, you just run, the crate series, and
Hmm.
really didn't have much success in that at all, to be honest. I mean, it's just I was
Is it?
working at a
It's a tough.
what's that?
I said, from my uncle's experience, it's a very tough class because it's so there's no power.
Absolutely. It's like that. I call. I was just actually talking to Billy about this the other day. Um, if you get in um, a crate, it's the power to weight ratio is almost the same as the slingshot. Like, and I feel like that's why a lot of good slingshot guys move the crates and are so successful because it's very similar driving styles. The cars are not hard. You don't see many slingshots spin out, and you don't see many crates spin out. They're just easy to. I'm not gonna say they're easy to drive.
Yeah.
They are easy to drive,
Hmm.
but to be good in them is a different story. But
Sure.
it's just they're fun. But after I ran my car owner races as well, so he had an open sportsman during that same time period, and the plan was already after that year we'd sell the 602 and get open sportsman, and I ran the open sportsman from 2018 all the way to the beginning of 2021. Um, yeah, and that was a blast. Those It's a shame that that class is going to be extinct. Um,
Yeah.
and I was racing with a lot of cool, like a lot of guys I grew up with. You have your Bob Lyman, Pat Wall, Mike Lyons was still racing at the time. Billy Osmond, who Kyle knows.
Yep.
Uh, just Kale Ross, who currently runs Modifieds now. It's really cool, and I got my first win in 2018.
Nice.
Yeah, 2018. That was cool in itself. Because it's just cool going to New Egypt, and you go there your whole life, watch races, and you finally you're on the front stretch in Victory Lane, and you're like, it all hits you for a second. You're like, wow. It's when I started racing, and I never once thought I'd ever, I thought it would be, all of us young kids when we start racing, we all think we're going to go to NASCAR or something, but realistically, I never thought I'd even, race anything else but slingshots. So everything after that, we all do this for fun. So it's crazy how you end up racing at New Egypt, and then I've gone around and raced at a bunch of different tracks that, of all tracks that I watched races at, with my dad and whatnot when I was younger. It's cool for me.
That's got to be, yeah, that's got to be unbelievable. Honestly, just being in that moment and stuff like that, because and you sit in the stands for so long, like you said, and just flip flopping the scenarios is got to be wild. But like as far as the crate cars, I agree with you that I've always called them like an oversized slingshot, and my uncle runs them. I don't know if you know Ralph Mealy. He's running 5 Mile Point, Pencan, and Makatech for early '90s and stuff like that. But he used to run modifieds a lot. He ran open sportsmans like you ran, and they're basically modified motors with 2-barrel carbs. So now he's driving this 602 crate sportsman. He's throwing it into the turns like it's a modified. He's scrubbing off a lot of speed, and like he's trying to get used to the whole idea of easing it in. Drive it like a slingshot. Very minimal wheel movements and stuff like that. So it's just interesting to watch him. He's won championships and tons of races back in the day, like when I was younger, to like see him try to transition into this and figure it out is very interesting. So it's a weird class, but I think I talked to TVD Tanner Van Doren at this motorsports show, and he said these big cars are easier to work on than the slingshots.
Oh, 100%. I that's one of the first things that I noticed, because it's, people don't realize, like, when everything's really small, it's like and to me, I think slingshot, I love the division, but those cars are way more complicated than they should be.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind, like, working on them, and just it's
they seem so
I
simple,
don't even know,
right? When you look at them, and they're
yeah,
they're promoted that way. Like, hey, this is like cheap form of racing, working man's race car type thing. But like, I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces.
and I always hated. I always had the dumbest electrical problems with a slingshot, and that's something I could never figure out. And I think that's what ended my slingshot career, because I couldn't figure something out with that. But yeah, great division. I will give slingshots this credit. They, from what I'm noticing, haven't gotten any more expensive than from what I started. They see, like, the parts are still for the most part the same. I mean, my my cousin's, like, are we gonna get into slingshots a little bit here, and or he is, and like, looking at his car, I think they've redone the swing arm a little bit, and the slingshot, this swing arm was the biggest pain in the neck thing in the world, but other than that, they're pretty much the same, and all the parts are identical to what I used to do. So, I mean, I'll give Tobias and them a lot of credit. They are truly an affordable race car, and you can spend a lot of money on spare parts, but other than that, you're really not gonna make too much you can't go out like you're modified and buy all these different brands of shocks and do this and that and everything
Oh
else.
yeah. Yeah, well,
But
it seems like it's more like the people that win are winning these races on a consistent basis, like Bieber and I guess last year was like Dylan Hahn. It's just the weekly maintenance. I mean, the commitment to being in the garage and basically disassembling the entire car and putting it back together so it's like perfect every week. Even Nate Freed,
hmm
every time he showed up to the track with his slingshot, a thing looked like it was on the showroom. I mean, him and his dad must have spent so many hours, and it was everything was clean, like greased. Everything was like there's no speck of dirt on the dang thing when he got to the track. But he was always up front. He won like 2 or 3 races in a row that season. Won the championship. Is basically his rookie season in the class. But like that is what separates in my mind, like someone who's out there to have fun and race to someone who's out there to compete.
Yeah, absolutely. Got taught this pretty pretty early. You know, clean race car is a happy race car, and you know what? It's the most true thing in the world. But I didn't really it didn't really make a difference for me until I got the big cars because you know I didn't even have a power washer until I got to big cars. So
Yeah.
um, but it's 100% true, and you got to look at guys like Bieber that he's had to have been racing slingshots since at least the early 2000s,
I think he
and
said
the cars were
2007 he started.
yeah, and the cars are probably what they're pretty much the same as what they were back then too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the guys and the guy. Every time I see Brett, I still talk to him when um, he's just a stand-up cool guy, but he just loves it too. And
He really
if I
does.
could, if I if I could give, I'd really love to see him get a shot in something big.
Me too. Me too. Me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever number you want to go to. He just like some practice laps to see because like
hmm
I feel like he would just get it would click so easily for him.
hmm Yeah, he's just and you always look at the person and himself, and again, he's just a really good guy.
Mm-hmm.
You never see him, and he's a clean driver too. Um,
Seriously, seriously clean,
like
especially for
even in
slingshots,
indoors, he
man.
doesn't. Even in the indoors, he really doesn't hit anybody. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. So I don't know how we got on that tangent, but
No, we're just hanging out, man. So like,
Well,
yeah, no,
talking about slingshots, it always
yeah,
leads back to Brett.
it always
yeah,
leads back to
yep.
Brett going for win 200, hopefully the next year or two. But
Jesus.
so the picture that Kyle sent me looks like you were at the speed showcase and you got $250. Now, is this for a win or is this for like a podium finish?
So they do that. That's a really cool deal that Brett does with that race. They do qualifiers. So I won the qualifier for the. So there was I think there was 6 of them. I think there were like 13, 14 cars in each of them, and you you win it. You're locked into the big dance. I think they took 5, but you win, you get a big check, even though it's $250.
Yeah,
That was actually my first big check. I'd never had one before, so that's like that made it all worth it for me in the end right there. But um, that's another place that just having the opportunity to race at a track like Port Royal was really cool.
Is
The end result wasn't good, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the same weekend you had that huge wreck, right?
yeah. So the next that was I think Friday night. Won the qualifier, feeling pretty good about ourselves. Go back to the camper at Port Royal, have a couple
Mhm.
celebratory drinks and whatnot, and then you get to the next day. I ended up picking third in the redraw,
Nice.
and I was kind of banking on the track being pretty similar as the night before, and but Grant, to be honest, I only have one set of shocks, so I was kind of limited to what I had there.
Mhm.
So I wasn't very good. I ended up, I think after halfway, I was 12th. Then once my tires cool off, I kind of dropped to the back, and then I eventually hit the wall, brought out the caution, put us off the right rear on, and I was just in the back there trying to see what I could make up, and just minding my own business. Come off a fork going down the straightaway, and it was Scotty Hitchens was stopped right in the middle of the track, and obviously I didn't know at the time. I was just following somebody. That person in front of me ducked under, and I was presented with a nice surprise of a car sitting there. And
Jeez.
I got to figure we're probably doing like 90, 95 at that point down the middle of
Easy.
the straightaway.
Easy.
And yeah, I hit him with my right rear tire. It spun me sideways, and I think I barrel rolled 4 times.
Any
Yeah, there was
major
a-
injuries? I know you talked about this on Mandy's podcast
Yeah, that was-
earlier in her
yep.
when she started their stuff. I watched that one when you talked about safety
Yeah.
because that's after Billy hurt himself too.
Absolutely, yeah. I got pretty lucky with it. I ended up with like a little mild concussion. I was out of work for a week and a half,
Jeez,
which
that sucks.
that sucked. Yeah,
yeah, that's...
you like me myself. I just do this as a freaking hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when it robs you money in your own pocket. You're like, why the hell do I even do this? But so that was really it. I mean, I got real lucky. Car did its job. That the cage bent pretty bad. That frame is still at the Flemington apartment store, sitting in a tent. Yeah.
Is that a Hig Fab too?
That was my original car. No, it wasn't. Not sorry, I sold that. That was a 2021 Hig Fab.
Well, shout out to Jerry Higby making some fantastic cars. My uncle used to
Absolutely.
race Big Nels back in the day, and he switched to he when he first got into it. He was, what did he get, a Troyer, and then immediately got in contact with Higby to get a Hig Fab. So he really likes them. I know a lot of people are very, very big on them. Is that kind of all you run? Is that what you?
Yeah, I mean, so I started with one, and then last year, so when I moved up to modifieds after we blew my open sports and motor up, we obviously put it in my original Hig Fab, and that car was just the model. Every race that frame, you would just find more and more like these frames. After a while, they get these little stress cracks on the welds.
Yeah.
You just every week when you're looking over the car, you just notice one, and like you just.
Now is
You're
that
like,
more
"Oh,
common
Jesus."
for like a modified? I know with the switch, was it the left hand panhard, where
Left side
if
panhard bar.
you're pulling the left front off the ground like crazy, and they're flexing like especially in the big blocks. I mean, they're flexing these cars like crazy. Is that more common now, you think, that you're having to kind of go dive deep to check for these kind of things?
Well, I can tell you this. So, Bicknell has these rubber floors, and I know Jerry Higby was actually telling me this because I work at. He's building my new car as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think was it Perego? Yeah, Anthony Perego got 8 races out of his brand new Bicknell.
8?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because best of the best, you got the rubber floor. Like, just to get the most flex out of it, like just most movement you can out of the car. And with these, I mean, we're all on coil springs now. I mean, some guys are still on torsion bars, but
nobody that's winning.
It's it's crazy. I mean, these cars move so much now because we're getting a lot of the late model technology over to us, and it's kind of it definitely made the modified racing tough and more expensive because you got to have 900 different shocks and different combos, different springs, this, that, and everything else. It's
like
if you want to win races,
like you got to have a spring smasher to like.
Oh
compete.
Yeah. I don't like.
You'll be like an expert spring smasher.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have access to that with my cousin because my shop's actually on the pouch compound is what we call it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm lucky enough to have access to a dyno and all that stuff. But
they have a dyno there too.
Shock dyno, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, not like it.
No, I was like, these boys are serious.
Yeah, they got a shock dyno there. It's cool.
Well, speaking of the pouches, do you ever get to like talk to Billy Pouch, like senior, and like kind of pick his brain a little bit? Or
100%.
Is he pretty open with talking? Because like I know Mike Mahaney's been winning a lot of races, and like it's got to be like maybe a little different for him since he's the son-in-law. But like, I feel like he wouldn't give him any tips. You know what I mean? He's like, you got to figure it out for your own son. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved to modifieds, my uncle he told me to try one thing, and I ended up finishing fifth that night in the modifieds. It
So
was,
sprinkles.
yeah, like and I'm sure, I think Billy went into this a little bit. He doesn't, he'll randomly just walk into my shop, look at my car, change this, walk out, like leave it at that, like just little bits here and there. He want like, and plus I don't want somebody just to, I've gotten to a point where, if I'm gonna I just want to make the mistake and learn from it because I
Sure.
don't learn well when people tell me what to do.
Mhm.
It just doesn't work out for me. So, I'm more of a make a mistake and learn from it kind of guy, and just don't do it again. But
Mhm.
he just will give you little, and it's not a lot of times. It's not even setup things. It's things that will make your car faster, like little maintenance tips here and there. Do this, and you know, get this part. You got less rotating weight. All that little detail stuff that a lot of people don't think about, and that's what made him so good.
Yeah, I
Is
guess
that
good.
people don't like a lot of like just people in the stands. Like don't a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize this until I got into it. Just there's so many details that even guys like I'm racing. Last year, Joe Toth kicked my ass, and you know he's they got their stuff dialed in. They know what they're doing, and you know they could very easily run modifieds and be very successful, but they run crates, and that gives someone like me something to strive for. So here I am over this whole off season, thinking of things that I could do that I didn't do before to make my program better, so I can compete with someone like him.
Seriously. Yeah.
And having access to Mike, my cousin, my uncle Bill, it's awesome. And I never really it's not even it's and they're also willing to help me. Mike's been awesome now that he's like I guess my cousin. Um, yeah, he's been great.
He's got to have a wealth of knowledge too. I mean, he's been he's been getting so much better every year and getting like a couple wins here and there, especially at Albany Saratoga. I feel like he just runs that place at this point.
Oh, he's just like I, being up there in New York. You're just racing against so many good guys.
Yeah.
It's like the competition up there is insane. And it's like, and the tracks up there are so slick. It's just, those guys are all committed and whatnot. And believe it or not, Mike went to college for that, for modifieds. I don't know where he went to college, but he went to school up in New York for dirt modifieds or
Really?
motorsports. Yes.
Oh, like dirt motorsports, like mechanic.
No, like there was straight up like a Troyer sitting in the college.
Let's go. We got to
Yeah,
figure
I don't
that
know
out.
where I don't know where this was, and I'd have to ask him. But
That's dedication right there.
yeah, so I believe that's where his first car came from. He was telling me this at dinner one night. But but yeah, like being around guys that are obviously my uncle's got 720 some career wins, and then
Yeah.
Billy's got 100 some wins, and then Mike has his own success, and it's one of those things where you kind of just sit back, listen to what they have to say, keep your mouth shut, and
Yeah, it's like if Billy Pouch walks in your shop and says to change something. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna drop everything and do exactly what he says. Like
absolutely. It's just really cool. And being up there is super helpful, and I've helped my cousin a lot in the pits, and when I'm not racing, or I've gone to Charlotte with him twice. That's where I feel I've learned a lot.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, last year at Grandview, I ran the crate race, and I think it was like the triple modified night or something, and here I am in my driver's suit, basically getting recruited to be the pit crew member. So here I am doing turns on the torsion bars and adjusting the Panhard bar in the back, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? And I got a brand new suit, and I'm rolling around in the dirt.
Let's go. That's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
no, it's fun, and
That's cool.
it's cool when it becomes a family thing. It's cool when I get to park next to him and all these. And I did get to race with my uncle before he, retired. He lapped me, but I got to race with him.
Hey,
Um,
you got to race with them. That's a
So-
lot of people can't say that no more.
yep. So it's been cool. It's kind of hard to race with them. That's kind of like why I have,
It's gotta
demoted
be.
myself back to running crates.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't get that fan out of me. So if I ran this short track super series race at New Egypt, and it was the year before last, and here I am in the heat race, and I look, somebody's the inside of me, and oh, look at that, it's the Hallmark 44. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
I was literally
Okay.
just gonna ask you like how it feels to like line up with like Matt Shepard and Stuart
It's
Friesen
so-
and all these guys.
it's so weird. And that's why I can't do it. I can't freaking do it.
But
I
hey,
don't-
At least you could say you did it. You raced.
Yes, I have done it. I mean, it's cool. I mean, my personal claim to fame of that night, I didn't make the race, which kind of sucked, but I was close.
Mhm.
I doored Tyler Dipple to get to fourth, and he didn't. I pulled away from him. I'll take it. He
I'm
ran
sure
trucks.
a lot of people give you a high five for that one. I'm sure.
Yeah, but nothing against Tyler Dipple, but
No, no.
he was in trucks the year before, and I'm like, yeah, just doored him out of the way, great.
Yeah.
But no, I just, it's racing with people that you grow up watching. It's just tough. You're afraid to piss people off. So
Phew.
running crates for me mentally is just better because everyone's either in the same boat as me, or I'm just like, I feel like we're all at like the same skill set.
Mhm.
I don't feel it's less intimidating, and truthfully, I do this for fun. So I don't really feel like I need to put myself through the hell of trying to get good modifieds.
Yeah, and it's
I
not like
just
you have to
don't.
prove anything to anybody.
No.
You're here to race and do as well as you can do. You know what I mean?
I never
Obviously, you're out
thought
there
I'd
to
get
win.
here in the first place.
Yeah,
So,
so you're just grateful. You're just
I'm
grateful
I'm just here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like I can't imagine lining up next to Friesen, but like my uncle used to race against him way back when he ran at 5 Mile Point regularly, and it was just like
Mhm.
he's running up front, he's leading the race, and all of a sudden Stewie just like blows his doors off, right? Just like passes him, and he's like,
Mhm.
I don't have any more room to put my foot down further, and this dude is just like blowing right past me. Like, is this a big wake up call for him? I guess, but he likes to tell me that story sometimes. But man, just like the skill that some of those guys have is just unreal. Because like when you race, I'm sure when you race against them, it's just like, how the hell are they going that fast? We should have like somewhat similar cars, right? Like
Well,
for the most
I
part.
had it was a Deo show, so here I am with my 358, and he's probably got a
Big block, baby.
440 in the thing.
We've got
Big
Billy the
small block
Kid.
in the
Let's
thing,
go.
So I mean, he's probably making 200 some more horsepower than I am, but it's
It is what it is. At least you could be lighter, I guess.
well, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
you look back and you look at these things where I was, friggin' now it's almost next year will be 10 years since I've been racing, which is crazy because I still remember, hanging out with Kyle for a summer like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we actually hung out outside of, racing a little bit. So,
Nice.
we even took a road trip to Charlotte.
Whoa.
I'm sure Kyle remembers that one.
I remember following you down there in my brand new car, and your power steering pump or brake booster or whatever is just dumping fluid all over me the entire drive down.
Yeah, we get down to, I think it was a gas station, and like Kyle literally, I think, just bought the car a week before. So
Not
his-
even. I think like 2 days.
What
and
the?
the nose of his Z is gray. I'm like, oh man, like I don't know what to say.
It'll buff out, man. Just
Oh man.
buff it
Yeah, the
out.
car's pearl white, and just there's just fluid all over it. I'm like,
Oh my
Huh.
gosh.
I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. like couldn't see out of the windshield anymore.
Take
Had
it
to
back
stop,
the
pull the
dealership.
tear off. Man,
Yeah.
that was a fun trip though. That was
Yes, it
like
was.
I barely knew how to drive stick, and we drove all the way down to Charlotte, and I had just got that car.
Yeah, we
Nice.
got the we were in Rev Racing's a little shop there. That was cool.
Yeah.
Then we went to GoPro, which that was awesome.
You went to the GoPro
Freaking unreal.
facility?
GoPro Motorplex, yeah.
You guys didn't get to race though because they wouldn't let
I
me
did,
sign your
yeah.
waivers.
Yes,
Which
we
is
were.
dumb.
Me and Taylor were both 17 at the time.
No.
So
dumb.
here's so Kyle's obviously, you know what, 10. How old are you, Kyle, now?
27.
Oh, you're 27. So why did I think you were in your 30s?
I don't know.
Because
That's
I'm in my
offensive.
30s.
I'm not that old, man. I'm
I
still
thought you
young.
were for a second, man.
I'm
I don't know,
still
how old are you,
young.
Dave?
All right, so
Wait,
I'm 22.
you're 22?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
30.
Just a baby.
I'm 34 with 3 kids.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't look 34 apparently from what I've heard. But apparently I'm
Yeah.
older than everyone except for all the parents at the racetrack.
Yep, pretty much.
But yeah, so you know, I got this I don't know. I know you do that videoing at Hamlin, right? Ron?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I will say this. Hamlin's one of my favorite tracks.
Me
not,
too.
Not gonna lie. I don't. Once I figured out how to run that track, it changed my whole. I was like, wow, this track's actually really fun. I've actually,
It's weird. It's got a hairpin
Yeah.
turn and then a big sweeping turn, so it's weird for a lot of people.
and people just like it's crazy. Like once you figure out how to run it, you're just like, oh my god, this is so easy, and people just have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
think that's why it's so. I think it's so hard to win there, and why it's so impactful for people to win there is because it is extremely challenging and not like any other track they raced on. I mean, I only live about 2 minutes from the track, so like, it's the track that's been closest to me, so that's why I always go there, and that's why kind of where this whole thing started. But I don't know,
I
it
hear
lacked
ya.
video content, so I just started videoing the races on my cell phone.
Yeah, I
And
will
now
say that.
here-
I'll give you credit with that. That's cool that you do that there. I mean, I've ran the Excel 600s there a couple times, and it's cool being able to go back and watch the videos and whatnot. I appreciate that. I wish it was you were there when I was running slingshots there. That would have been cool.
Me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's gonna be more stuff. I mean, if you ever make your way down this season, I'm hopefully have more stuff going on. At least scoring. The main thing I'm gonna work on is having scoring for the video, so you can see who's where. So you're not just watching cars go around a track that you don't know who they are.
But I hear you. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And for the little kids that race, that's so like to them that's like I mean that's insane being able to watch themselves on TV,
Yeah.
or they think it's TV, and it's like they that's awesome. Like I think what you do at Hamlin's means a lot to a lot of those kids. So keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a hell of a job.
Thanks, man. And I think the big thing I've heard from most of the parents is that I don't film the races like normal everyone else. So I'll film the leaders first, and then I'll give everybody a lap where I follow them, even the last place car. And for some reason, I mean, I understand why they're happy about it, but like I've had a lot of comments and a lot of people who tell me that they appreciate that more than the videos itself. Just being able to, because everyone's got sponsors, right? Everyone has people that support them or watch them or whatever. So like following the first, the top 5 the whole race and not giving everybody else any screen time seemed kind of stupid for me. So if I can, and Hamlin's a big track, so there's, there are longer laps for even the smaller cars. So being able to give everybody at least a lap keeps it interesting, I guess, and everyone's able to at least see their car go around the track at least once instead of just like glimpses of it.
No, that's
Kind of where we're at.
that's good. That's awesome.
But yeah, I think we're winding down here just a little bit. I guess the floor is yours at this point. Any social media, any sponsors, anybody and everybody you want to thank for getting you where you're at. The floor is yours.
Well, right now, the big thing is Marty Resnick is the only reason I'm even doing what I'm doing right now. that guy's been awesome to me. I mean, we got a brand new car coming. We just got a second crate motor. I mean, we still have the modified motor, and whatnot, but we're diving into this crate stuff pretty good. We want to win these races, and he's done a lot for my family as well. So we also got a new sponsor, TFB Trucking, coming on board this year, giving us some money, and we got Champion Tire, Active Disposal, Braddock Chiropractic. I also got to thank Eddie Fetzloff. He owns my XL 600. He's been working hard on that to make that the best XL 600 out there. So hopefully I can race that a little bit more this year. And obviously my family, big time. My mom sells my shirts and whatnot at the track and all
Nice.
that cool stuff. And it's I got a guy, Steve Cameron. He helps me out. He helps me a lot at the shop. It's just me and him for the most part, getting the car ready. And we're winding down here, and I still don't have a car yet, so that's going to be the next thing. That's going to be a little bit stressful getting it ready, but we'll be ready. And the only social media thing I have is my Facebook page, so it's just simply David Words Racing. So go like it, and I got my schedule already out, my tentative schedule. So hopefully maybe we'll have shirts again this year. I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll just that's about all I have on that side of it.
That's amazing, Kyle. Any final words or anything? I guess.
No, I'm just I miss racing with you. We had a lot of good times together growing up at the track and everything, running the slingshots, and hopefully one day I'll be able to grab a ride in a modified or something and bang some wheels with you again.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be something. I will say that I missed. That's one of the main things I miss slingshots for is guys like you. I mean, for a while there, every track I'd go to, you were there and parked next to each other and whatnot, and I don't get to see you a whole lot anymore. So, it's cool and everything. It's cool seeing you run the TQs and whatnot, and you work really hard on your stuff too. So, and I think sometimes you are completely nuts with the stuff you come up with and the amount of time you spend thinking about things. But so I'm very curious to see what this custom body looks like that you're building for this TQ.
Yes, sir.
It's
When's the
gonna
big
be
reveal?
hot. It's gonna be hot.
It's just probably gonna be some freaking wedge going all around the track, I'm sure.
It's gonna look
Lots
like an
of
old
wedges.
school late model.
Oh Jesus. So but yeah, maybe in the next year or two I'll be making a slingshot indoor appearance. I haven't really figured it out yet, but
Make
hopefully-
a TQ indoor appearance.
There we go.
yeah, well, somebody's got to do some work for me on that one. But
All
I
right.
ain't
Well,
gonna
I
be-
made-
that ain't
Traska.
gonna be me.
I've made a lot of good connections in the last year, so I'll start talking to people. We'll get
I'd
you in
love to
there.
do it.
Let's do it.
I think we'll replace your cousin with you. I think that's an upgrade.
Oh
Your mustache is better. Somebody's got to give me a run out there for best mustache at the indoor races. So
Oh, yeah, Kyle's
But,
firmly in the lead
I
with
can-
that one. I don't.
Listen,
I will say.
I will take you up on that.
I will say I had when I went to Bridgeport. This is a couple years back for like 100 lap for Super Dirt Car Series. My dad actually has an old picture of Billy Pouch when he ran the NASCAR Truck Series, and he had a
Mhm.
big old mustache, just a
I
mustache.
bet.
So when we went to the track, we brought it with us, and we actually got him to sign it.
That's
So we've got
awesome.
that hanging up in the garage right now. Just the real. This is like early '90s Billy Pouch with the the big mustache. So you guys with your mustaches reminded me of that.
Well, that was the thought. I mean, when I rolled up to Port Royal with the mustache, I'm like, you know what? It worked for my uncle. Let's see if it works for me. And obviously, it worked one night, and then,
Not so much.
put me
the
in an
next.
ambulance the next night. So
Hey, checkers
gonna-
are
we're
records,
gonna-
baby. Checkers
we're
are
gonna
records.
until I have to, I'm gonna stay away from the mustache, and
It was-
you know,
It was worth 2/10.
yeah.
Agreed.
So
That's awesome. But man, really happy to have you on here and good to catch up. And I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to do well in the modified and see where it takes you.
absolutely, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Hopefully, I can get up to Hamlin, maybe talk to Ron in person here, and then
I'd love to get a
hopefully,
live interview. You know,
yeah, and
be a
then
much shorter interview, of course, but would definitely love to have it. I really appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us. Anybody in the that's watching or in the chat or anything, you can see the link to his Facebook page in the comments. So if you go click on that, you can go to his page. Yeah, just appreciate everybody watching and tuning in each week, and we're just gonna keep going with this, especially moving up to racing season. We've got some really cool stuff lined up. Some cool ideas that I'm kind of throwing around. Not gonna announce anything yet, but there's some cool stuff that will be happening in the next couple months, which is cool. Big shout out to our sponsors: MCM Contracting, Bodie Marks Racing, The Shop Automotive Detailing, Smith Fabrication, Stage One Modifieds, DH Graphics, ProTech Roofing, Nate Freed Racing. Again, we're live every week on Sundays at 8 p.m. with a new driver, new one to talk to, and learn about their stories and what their plans are. So it's super fun being able to talk to different drivers every week from different classes, and especially most of them are familiar with slingshots, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of like a cool connection between, especially Kyle, my co-host here. So appreciate everybody for watching. Again, we're live every Sunday at 8 o'clock. So Dave, thanks again for coming on.